Hey everyone, which comes first during product launch? Traffic or reviews? If you start PPC before reviews, what happens? Stick around and watch this video to find out. Welcome back to the AAH YouTube channel, where we cover the best strategies to help you grow in e-commerce. Today, I'm going to answer the important question, traffic or reviews first? And I'm going to share the best strategy for setting up your PPC for maximum conversions during your product launch. During this month's segment on product launch, we're going to cover our winning formula for product launches. So be sure to subscribe so you can get all the videos in this series and comment if you have any questions. We'd love to hear from you. All right, last week we covered the 3 phases of launch to help you set up your product for maximum success when it comes to sales and conversions. So in review, here are the 3 phases of product launch. Phase 1 is page visits and reviews. Phase 2 is traffic and conversions, and phase 3 is ongoing sales and profitability. This week, I'd like to focus on phase 1, page visits and reviews. We're going to do a deep dive together in each of these phases. I also want you to hang out until the end of this video, and I'm going to explain how do you know when it's time to run that auto campaign that you've been dying to start during your launch. I know this is one of the biggest questions I get is like, when should I start an auto campaign? So we're going to talk about the importance of when to start it and how to do that towards the end of this video. So let's do a deep dive into phase 1 of the product launch. Phase 1 starts when your listing goes live, and it ends after you've completed our phase 1 launch checklist, which I'll get into in just a little bit. So let's talk about the goals that you'll have during phase 1 of your product launch. The 4 goals that you have during this first most critical period of your product launch are page visits. You want to get your listing to index. Secondly, reviews. Third, quality control. And fourth, you want to set up for conversions during phase 2. Let's talk about each of these things on its own. So first of all, what the heck is a page visit, right? Well, a page on a website, a web page is just like your Amazon listing. Your Amazon listing is a web page. And that web page is indexed by a search engine, and Amazon is a search engine. So what you want to do is you want to tell that search engine exactly what your page is relevant for. And when you first create your product listing and before you get page visits, so people actually visiting your page by either clicking your ad or visiting it organically, or maybe coming from off of Amazon, maybe you post it on Facebook and they visit your listing that way. Every time someone visits your page, you get a little indexing boost from the search engine. So you want to make sure that you get these page visits. And how can you do that? You can create traffic to your listing so that you get lots of page visits and you tell Amazon, hey, I'm relevant for this. If you start an auto campaign before you actually have had many page visits, your listing won't be indexed for all of those relevant keywords, and your auto campaign won't be as effective because the search engine doesn't know what you're relevant for. So it's just a best guess for maybe some words in your title, which can be really, really crazy. I've seen the results of auto campaigns. What I'll do is reverse search a listing after they've launched with only an auto campaign. And often we see so many keywords that they've indexed for that are just not relevant. And then they're not indexing for those keywords that are so important to them. So it's really, really important that you get this right during phase 1. You want to get those page visits. So create targeted PPC campaigns with exact match to those keywords that you want to tell the search engine that you're super relevant for. Send some traffic from off of Amazon. Send them to your listing just to get those page visits. You can always use a 2-step URL. A 2-step URL, that could be a whole nother topic. But if you use Helium 10 gems, that can give you an idea of what a 2-step URL is. But the bottom line is you want to get those page visits. You want to get indexed for those page visits. All right, the second thing that you want to do during phase 1 is you want to get reviews. Reviews are really, really important. Now, am I telling you to cheat and, go pay a bunch of people to leave you reviews? No. but I do need you to get 1 or 2 reviews during this phase, because it's so important before you unleash the rest of the traffic for you to have actual reviews on your listing. So there's many ways for you to get reviews. We can do a whole nother segment. We can talk more about that in our Facebook group, in our discussions. We already do, but it's important that you set up a few reviews in the very beginning. Maybe you have a launch list of people who are just raving fans waiting for your product to launch, and they're happy you're already in contact with them. They're already in your email list. They're happy to go out on Amazon and buy this product. Maybe you have a launch coupon for them, and they're going to give their honest feedback on your listing. That's fine. But what I want you to do is I want you, for those folks that you have contact with, I want you to have them give you a personal quality control check on your product. So when you send that product out to them and you already have them via email and they've already agreed to give you feedback, and you reach out to them and you say, hey, how was the unboxing experience? Was the packaging damaged? Was the product damaged? Basically, what you want to hear from them is any reason any other customer wouldn't leave you a 5-star review. Because if they see any reason and they're in contact with you now for someone else not to leave a 5-star review, the chances of you not getting a 5-star review from someone that you don't know who buys on Amazon is pretty high. So it's important that you make sure that you're getting quality control feedback on your products early on, while you're getting those page visits, while you're getting those few reviews, and all of that is going to set you up for conversions during phase 2. How do you know when phase 1 is over and you can actually move on to phase 2? Well, I have a checklist for that. So let's get into the checklist. You want to make sure that you can find your listing in search for its long tail keywords. So remember how we were saying you need page visits, you need to get indexed, right? Well, I want you to look for your long tail keywords. So if you're selling a blue water bottle with a straw, that you should be able to find your listing in search for a medium to long tail keyword like that, right? So make sure that you can find your listing in search. It doesn't necessarily have to be on page 1, but it should be on page 1, page 2, page 3, for that medium to long tail keyword. Because you definitely don't, if your listing isn't relevant for it and you start an auto campaign, what's going to happen, right? So that's back to that critical question that I talked about in the beginning. That auto campaign, if you start that before you know if your listing is found in search for those medium to long tail keywords, it might not be relevant for that. And then you're going to get indexed for all those keywords that you maybe aren't as relevant to your product. And it's going to end up having you pay for clicks that aren't going to convert, and you're going to get bad campaign data in those campaigns. The next thing in the checklist is that you have at least 1 review posted. You don't need 16 reviews or anything like that, but you do need at least 1 review before you unleash a whole bunch more traffic. So make sure that you review strategies and that you are ready to go with a review. At least 1 review is posted to your listing. And then finally, along with that your product has passed the quality control check that we talked about, right? You definitely want to make sure that that there's no reason that someone else isn't going to leave you a 5-star review. And that way, when we ramp up the sales during phase 2 and those conversions, and we ramp up the traffic, and we start those auto campaigns, there's the answer to that question. During phase 2, you can start those auto campaigns. But once we do that, you're not going to have a slew of bad reviews come in, and then all of a sudden your listing is tanked. So those are the things that you have to do during phase 1. That's how you know when phase 1 is over. And that's it for today's segment on how to launch and launch phase 1. I hope you've learned a lot. If you have anything to add to the discussion, please leave a comment. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment. And don't forget to join us in our Facebook group, where we have lots of awesome discussion about topics just like this. And you can ask any additional questions that you have. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.